What did you think?
I gave him a D, and that was only because he still went to Mass and decided to hold the breakfast this morning. I can't think of a time, I think ever, when both the mayor and governor did not attend the parade. And even Ed Koch and Mayor Bloomberg, who were huge gay rights advocates, still marched in the parade. This is not about an issue of being gay or straight. It's about the patron St. Patrick, and I think that was completely lost on the mayor, and he'll pay a price for it. So going forward, I think that they should all have to change the policy.
Now, Errol Cockfield, there were a number of leaders in the Irish community who chalked this up to inexperience by the mayor's team, that, you know, it hasn't been 100 days, they weren't sure, they weren't clear on it, they didn't understand that this wasn't just another breakfast at Gracie Mansion for a lot of the leadership. With that in mind, what did you make of the parade?
Well, I gave him a B-. I think that history's probably going to look back on the mayor's decision fondly, and he's on the side of the angels, I think, on the issue, and the sponsors stepping away from it, like Guinness, I think shows where the issue is going, where it's trending nationally. But I think the management of the Irish community, it has been not good. I think when you've got to be on the defense on a group that's so part of the fabric of the city, that's not a good place to be. So.
Okay, and O'Brien Murray, who showed us his green socks, who is a proud Irishman.
Of course.
You couldn't give him an A, I guess.
Of course I could. Matter of fact, I never got one when he was in college, but I gave him an F- if that was possible. Yeah, they have it up there. Look, they got it right. No, simply put, there's no reason not to march. The last mayor, if I recall, who didn't march was David Dinkins, one term and done. That's where this mayor is going. He's an accidental mayor who, as you brought up appropriately so right here, they don't know what they're doing. It's a game they can't shoot straight at this point. They're mismanaging everything, and this is just indicative of that. It's a mistake not to march at this point. This is supposed to be about unity and bringing people together, and this mayor is nothing more than divisive and trying to use this parade for that. Totally wrong.
But which is it? I mean, is it that they're incompetent and they didn't get their act together and talk to the right people, or are they trying to score some political point? Because what would be possibly the political point in snubbing the Irish?
They didn't get their act together going back to the Gracie Mansion breakfast today that they talked about in the New York Times. They planned it at the last minute. They don't think forward in these things. So the day they stepped out and said, we're not going to do the parade, they could have easily said, we're doing these other things around it, and they didn't do it. Hence, they don't know what they're doing to begin with. And secondly, like I say, David Dinkins didn't march in the parade. As Jessica said, Mayor Koch marched in the parade, Mayor Bloomberg marched in the parade, and there was never a question of where they stood on that issue. So he's trying to use a parade here totally inappropriately, and that's why I gave him an F-.
Okay, Evan.
I gave him a B on the parade decision because, look, this is, for all intents and purposes, a New York parade. It's privately run, but it's a public parade. It's not the message we want to send to the world that we're going to be not inclusive. We're going to be rejecting a very large part of the population that's fought for their rights quite well. But if this question was, how did he handle St. Patrick's Day, I would have given him a D. They had to scramble. My mother's an Irish citizen. I'm Irish Catholic. I mean, they had to scramble to get this thing better than it was, and that's not good.